Joshua Vernon Maddux was born on March 9, 1990. He lived in Woodland Park, the most populous city in Teller County, Colorado, USA. Joshua's parents divorced when he was young, and he lived with his father and two sisters, Kate and Ruth. In 2006, his older brother Zachary, 18 years old, died by suicide after battling depression. Zachary's death had a significant impact on Joshua. At school, Joshua was known as an intelligent and talented student who loved freedom, enjoyed listening to music, and spent his free time playing the guitar and composing music. On March 8, 2008, Joshua told his father and sisters that he wanted to go out for a walk. Knowing his son's love for nature, Joshua's father let him go without thinking it would be the last time he saw him alive. By nightfall, Joshua had not returned, and the family began to worry. They hoped he might be camping somewhere with friends for a few days. The family contacted friends, searched abandoned houses, and even camping areas, but found no sign of him. 5 days later, on March 13, 2008, Mike Maddux reported his son missing. Police conducted a widespread search that lasted for several days, scouring the town and surrounding areas, but Joshua remained missing. There seemed to be no reason why Joshua would leave home like this. He had no criminal record, was not involved in any trouble at school, and showed no signs of depression or suicidal thoughts. Since Joshua had just turned 18, his family considered the possibility that he might have wanted to start a new life elsewhere, perhaps pursuing a career as a writer or musician. In an online post, Joshua's sister Kate wrote, "I hope that one day, he'll come back with a wife and kids so they can meet our grandparents and two uncles." Joshua is musically talented, so maybe he's touring with a band or focusing on writing an immortal novel. However, they also considered the possibility that Zachary's death may have triggered Joshua's disappearance since it occurred exactly 2 years before. But those around Joshua saw no signs of unusual behavior before he went missing. Police continued to search for Joshua with little hope. Mike Maddux's family moved elsewhere but kept the old house in the hope that Joshua would one day return. In the 1950s, Chuck Murphy purchased a cabin located 2 rows away from the Maddux family's home. Previously known as Thunderhead Branch, it was a renowned dining establishment under the ownership of Big Bert Bergstrom's company. The place was notorious for various illicit activities, including gambling and wild parties. Murphy's brother had lived in the cabin until 2005. Afterwards, it became a dilapidated storage space, so Murphy paid little attention to it. On August 6, 2015, Murphy began hiring workers to demolish the cabin for reconstruction. When the workers' excavator reached the chimney stack of the house, they were startled to discover a mummified body curled up inside. The peculiar aspect was that the corpse was in a highly unusual position, resembling a fetus in the womb, with its knees drawn up close to the face. The victim was only wearing a shirt on the upper body and no pants. After dental records were compared, the police determined the body belonged to an 18-year-old teenager who had been missing for 7 years, Joshua. According to the autopsy findings, there were no drugs in Joshua's system, and his body showed no signs of trauma. There were no broken bones or wounds from knives or bullets. Investigator Al Bourne declared that Joshua's death wasn't instantaneous. He likely died due to hypothermia or dehydration. There are too many unanswered questions. "It's baffling," Al Bourne remarked. A hypothesis was proposed that Joshua, standing 6 feet tall and weighing 150 pounds, attempted to climb down the chimney. If this were true and Joshua got stuck, he would have had great difficulty calling for help as nobody would hear him. According to the Gazette, the chimney structure would make it impossible for someone to climb up from inside. Additionally, demolition workers noted that the fireplace at the bottom was obstructed by a heavy object, making it impossible for Joshua to climb up from that position or escape out of the chimney. However, Murphy vehemently denied the possibility of Joshua's death being an accident. He believed someone had placed Joshua inside the chimney. 3 main reasons led most people to believe Murphy's assertion. Firstly, Murphy had installed a large steel mesh over the chimney to prevent animals from entering the house through the chimney. However, the police found no metal pieces there. Secondly, the bar counter that was originally placed in the breakfast nook had been removed and relocated to the chimney. Thirdly, and perhaps the most bizarre detail, Joshua was found wearing only a thermal shirt. The rest of his clothes, including socks and shoes, were inside the cabin, neatly folded beside the fireplace. On September 28, 2015, the coroner's team concluded Joshua's death as an accident. However, just 3 days later, Bourne reopened the case and acknowledged Murphy's arguments. With all the evidence presented, Murphy asserted that Joshua had been murdered and stuffed into the chimney by someone. He also provided evidence of calls from a criminal believed to be the perpetrator of Joshua's death. However, ultimately, Bourne still concluded that Joshua had climbed into the chimney himself. Chuck Murphy, the new owner of the land, revealed that he had visited the wooden cabin a few times and noticed a foul smell, but he thought it was just a dead mouse. Little did he know that the odor emanated from the decomposed body of the missing teenager everyone was looking for. According to Murphy's argument, he believed that Joshua was murdered rather than met with an accident. In 2015, a Reddit user posed the question, "How would you react if you found the murderer, and how would it affect your life afterward?" In the comments section, the user recounted a high school acquaintance named Andy, who was close friends with Joshua and went missing shortly after hanging out with Andy. "In high school, I knew a skinny friend named Andy who played guitar in a band. I was never close to him, but a year after I graduated, one of my good friends, Joshua, started hanging out with him and then went missing. Once, I heard Andy talking to another friend about spending a lot of time with him, planning a trip to New Mexico." The Andy mentioned by this Reddit user is Andrew Richard Newman, a California native. After high school, he became a vagabond and faced several criminal charges, including assaulting a police officer, public disorder, and grand theft. Although Joshua didn't accompany him, Andrew still went to New Mexico in 2009. But he stayed with a friend, James Wellito, and together they cared for a disabled person. One day, when James came out of the bathroom, he found Andy missing, while the disabled man was lying in a pool of blood, not breathing. Several months later, Andy was arrested while roaming around Texas begging for food. After fingerprint comparison, authorities determined his involvement in another robbery in Washington. Andy was indicted on various charges across 6 states in the United States. Despite Joshua's friends attempting to provide convincing evidence to the police to investigate Andy at the time of Joshua's murder, they were unsuccessful. Moreover, Andrew confessed to killing a woman and stuffing her into a barrel in Taos, New Mexico. However, the police arrested another person for the murder of the woman and decided to charge that person instead of Andrew. Despite Andrew boasting about being able to put Joshua into the chimney, the police remained unconvinced. Besides Andrew, there was another suspect, but Bourne stated that the unnamed man was too small to fit Joshua's body into the chimney. So after many years, the death of the young man Joshua remains a mystery. The Maddux family found some consolation in being able to bury their son properly, but they will continue to persevere in seeking justice for their son. Hopefully, new leads will emerge soon, providing Joshua and his family with the answers they deserve. So, who do you think is the perpetrator? Please leave your opinions in the comments below.